All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We know we were changed it. We had it scheduled for yesterday, but lots of stuff going on this week and even a lot of stuff today with different driver media availabilities. So appreciate your flexibility and everybody joining us here today as we are joined by driver of the number 21 Motorcraft Ford Mustang Dark Horse, Josh Berry, looking good in that Motorcraft cap. Wear it well, Josh. Obviously, we got the Clash at Bowman Gray scheduled for this weekend to kick off the season. If you've got a question for Josh, we'll have him for the next 15, 20 minutes. And then we'll be joined by the Wood brothers themselves. Eddie, Len, and John will join us, and we'll have them separately. So questions right now for Josh only, and then we'll move into the Woods here shortly. All right, we're going to kick it off here, Josh, with Zach Sterniolo. Sterniolo, you got the first question. Zach, go for it.
Hey, Josh. What's this offseason been like for you getting acquainted with the Wood Brothers team, Miles Stanley being the crew chief this year? What's this process been like for you going from SHR to Wood Brothers?
Yeah, it's been good. It's been busy. Miles, obviously getting to know Miles and work with him and kind of build that relationship is obviously, one of the, things at the top of the list. We spend a lot of time together. We've been in the simulator a number of times. We've, met with the whole team, crew chief, spotter, engineers, everything. We've been busy over the last couple months, right? Maybe took a little bit of time off right after the season, but really the last month or so we've been pretty hard at it. So I've really enjoyed to get to know Miles. He's had been a real intricate part of Team Penske and their engineering group, and I think he's going to bring a lot to the 21 car, and I'm excited to work with him.
Thanks.
All right, let's go to Steven Toronto. Go ahead.
Hey Josh, big changes in the Ford camp this year. Obviously, Stewart Haas Racing has gone away, and it's created this vacuum where now you've got a dispersal of drivers and personnel and resources across the four teams, and who's adding cars and who took on what. Coming from SHR, what have you noticed is different so far in terms of the way things are structured at Ford Performance, and where do you think the Wood brothers fit in this new landscape we've got?
Well, obviously it's been a challenge, for, obviously with the SHR closing down and all the different paths we took there, right? But for me, I don't really know that I have a lot to add on that too much because really I've obviously have, coming into the most established team in NASCAR. They've been here 75 years. They have a great relationship with Team Penske. Team Penske's obviously has had a tremendous amount of success. So really for me, it's just about kind of fitting in and getting in a rhythm of working with my team and everybody there to be prepared to come, racing this weekend. So, obviously still with Ford and that it makes it easier for a lot of the things on the car side of things, using the sim, different things like that. It's not a transition to a new manufacturer like I had last year, but it's still a new race team and things are a little different here and there.
And I guess it's just a point of curiosity since you mentioned Team Penske. How much time are you splitting between Penske's place in Mooresville and the Wood Brothers' place in Stewart? If I'm not if I'm remembering their like working relationship on the technical side correctly.
Yeah, we're spending time in both places. I got up to Stewart couple weeks ago now and saw a lot of cool stuff up there. I encourage anybody that can make it by their museum there and Stewart and check that out. It was really cool experience going up there and seeing all that and spending time with those guys. So, but yeah, it's a balance between the two. Obviously, they have a tight technical alliance with Team Penske, so our time is kind of bouncing between the two.
Gotcha. Thank you, Josh.
Let's go to Jenna Fryer. And let me just say it was nice to be able to send out a media advisory and not get an email reply from Jenna 5 minutes later saying there's a conflict. Dan, I can't make this. So thank you, Jenna.
Okay, just to be clear, it's not Jenna's conflicts that screw this up. It's NASCAR's conflicts. So this isn't about Jenna. Josh, two things. First on how fortunate do you feel to have landed on your feet with, one of the oldest and most established teams in NASCAR, and also one that has this Penske alliance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm obviously extremely thankful for that. I mean, last year was a challenge, I think, from start to finish, just with everything going on. A lot of emotions over the course of the year, different stages of that. Um, but all in all, I'm proud that, I did a good enough job to find myself in this opportunity and go race for the Wood Brothers, right? And the history they've had, the tradition, obviously alliance with Team Penske. I mean, I feel like this is a great opportunity for me. I mean, they're a family-run organization. I think, even, just I think it's a great fit for me, and just the path that I've taken here through the grassroots level and the things that have had to happen to get me here. I feel like that, I'm in a great place, and I've really enjoyed working with them, getting to know everybody there, and fitting into the structure of everything that is the Wood Brothers and Team Penske, and being able to rely on a couple cup champions, basically as teammates there, I think is going to be a big help for me as well.
And as long as the internet is not lying, you've never raced at Bowman Gray before. That's correct. Is that correct?
Nope, I haven't. I remember going there one time and watching a modified race. It was like twin 25s or something. This was probably been, 10 or 12 years ago. And it was entertaining. It was definitely lived up to the name, the Madhouse. But I'm excited to get there. I think it's cool, right? I think, it's obviously close to home. There's a lot of race fans in that area. Obviously, Bowman Gray is really popular in the state of North Carolina. They've put on a lot of great racing for a long time. So, for us, hopefully the Cup Series can live up to that hype.
I'm assuming almost no one in the field will have raced at Bowman Gray. I don't know for certain. But that being said, what should we expect if this is a brand new track for everyone? It's a difficult track, and it's known for its fighting as much as anything else. I mean, should we expect fighting, or what should the race fan look for?
I think it'll be similar to the Clash. They have, there's a handful of guys that I think they've raced there. Obviously, guys that have raced modifieds, maybe. And then they did do a East Series race there years ago. I remember that, kind of now through this week, we're all kind of tuning back to watching that a little bit, kind of seeing how that product looked. It's gonna be tight quarters racing, right? It's a short track, and it's a very small short track at that. So I mean, I think the product will look a lot like the Clash. I don't know about the fighting and everything that entails that we see during the summer there. But yeah, I mean, it'll be intense. We'll be beating and banging, I'm sure, but ultimately, all of us are going to this, wanting to win this race just like anybody else. So I think we treat it, no matter where we go, the same, and we're going to go try to prepare and win and do the best we can.
Great, thanks, Josh.
All right, thank you, Jenna. Let's go to Justin. Hey, Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, thanks. Justin Schuler with Athlon Sports. Josh, I kind of want to take a step back. You alluded to this, but in less than a week, you're going to be driving for the Wood Brothers, that 21 car. Like, what does that mean to you? This is one of the oldest organizations that's putting cars on the track. Lots of great drivers have driven that car that you're about to put behind or get behind the wheel. So what does that mean to you personally and this next step with your career?
I mean, it's just an opportunity that I'm really grateful for, right? I mean, just to drive the 21 car in the history, the tradition that they've had, family run organization that, like I said, we're starting their 75th season. I think, I mean, it just means a lot. I mean, it's just a tremendous opportunity for me. Me personally, I mean, I'm really thankful for the opportunities I've got. I mean, I've drove for a lot of great people, and to add the Wood Brothers to the list of that is really special when you look for my career path, obviously at Junior Motorsports and then Stewart Haas, but even spent, some time in fill-in roles here or there, like Hendrick. And it's really cool the list of guys and teams that I've got to drive for. I mean, it's just a really big honor to get to do this and to embark on their 75th season, and all with Ford Motor Company and the success they've had. Right, we want to add to that tradition. That's the goal. I mean, that's why I'm here. We want to come out. We want to run well and hopefully add to the list of 100 wins.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, let's go to Matt Weaver. Hello, Matt.
Hey guys, thanks for taking time this afternoon. Josh, I know there's some layer of independence from Wood Brothers to Penske, but the amount of cohesion is well documented. I'm curious, have you had a chance to like actually interact or meet or be introduced to the captain at all? Have you talked to Roger?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he was, yeah, I met with him a couple times already, even going back to, I think the first time was Indianapolis last year. So he's well aware of what we have going on, and is obviously a tremendous supporter of the Wood Brothers, and wants to see us have success and run well, just like he does with his own race cars. So without a doubt, I mean, I felt included and at home with that whole alliance and everything that entails with that, right? Like I don't think there's any. I mean, the expectation is to run like their other three race cars, and that's the fact of the matter. And I'm ready to take on that. I think we all are. Miles is. Everybody on the 21 team is ready to get back up there and run up front and compete for wins, and that's what we're here to do.
I always think of like, Penske perfect or guys that kind of fit Roger's mold. And while I think a lot of you, you're not the typical Roger Penske mold kind of guy. So I'm curious, did you guys hit it off a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, he's a racer and has a tremendous legacy in the sport. When you can sit down with someone as accomplished as Roger, you obviously listen to what he has to say and take in every part of that. So it's like I said, maybe obviously I am a Wood Brothers driver, but we have an alliance there that is a unique situation. But yeah, I mean, I feel like for me, the learning the structure and the organization of Team Penske, along with what we have on the 21 car, has really been a really positive influence for me, right? Like it's not something that I'm at all um, feel out of place being there, right? Like so. Yeah, I mean it's I'm excited for it. It's been a fun off season getting to know everybody and work with everybody to prepare for this year, and we're ready to go racing.
And one more for me, if I can. If Cars Tour or NASCAR came to you and said, "Hey, we're thinking about doing a late model stock race at Bowman Gray," would you be for or against it?
I think it would be fine. I mean, they've raced at Wake County comes to mind. It's a similar size. I think I raced there one time, and yeah, I mean, I think it would put on a good show, just like most of the other racing there. So, I mean, it's probably it wouldn't be something that they would do multiple times a year, but I mean, a race there, I think it'd be cool. And I mean, the biggest thing about that too, especially in this area, is they've always had a tremendous turnout of fans in that area, and that area is filled with a lot of race fans. We see that on the TV ratings, and obviously we see that at Bowman Gray Stadium over the course of the summer. And so, I mean, for me, I'm all for going and racing where those places like that have the tremendous support from the fans.
Thanks, Josh.
All right, let's go to Deb Williams. Hello, Deb.
Hi, thank you. Josh, thank you for your time today. Um, Due to your extensive short track background, even though there are a few Cup drivers who drove in the K&N races there at Bowman Gray, with your extensive track background, do you feel that gives you a little more confidence or more knowledge going into there, give you a little bit of an edge to go to Bowman Gray? How does that affect your confidence level with your background?
I mean, it's definitely a little bit higher. Looking back last year, the clash at the Coliseum for me really, it wasn't a great experience for us. We didn't. It was kind of, it was unique with the weather. We really didn't get a lot of track time. That was my first time in the car, like feeling the car, sitting in the car, driving it. So I definitely left there a little frustrated that we didn't make the feature race. So I mean, obviously that's obviously a goal going back there that and I feel like we've done a good job preparing for this race the best we can. Obviously there's a lot of unknowns, but I feel like the preparation that we've done already to get ready for this weekend, along with now having several short track races in with the next gen car that most of them we had good speed and good results early throughout the race. So I mean, I think we're more confident going back. I definitely feel more prepared, I feel more comfortable in the car. So hopefully I can utilize some of my experience on these short tracks a little bit better.
Have you talked to Eddie and Lynn about when their dad raced there and some of the things that went on there?
Yeah, we've got like I touched on earlier when we spent some time with Lynn up at the museum a couple weeks ago, and I'll be honest, I need to go spend another 8 or 10 hours because I mean it was so there was just so much. Um, I told Lynn this afterwards. I mean, it's amazing just the amount of tradition and the history and all. There's race cars and pictures and uniforms and trophies, and it's almost hard. It's a lot hard to take everything in that shorter period of time because you hear one story and you're focused on one car or one picture, and then your eye catches the Leonard building the half scale carburetor, and there's all these projects going on there. So it was no, it's really cool. And yeah, they, obviously going to Bowman Gray, I know they're excited. They have some history there. Obviously, we're running a throwback car to one of Glenn Wood's rides that he won with at Bowman Gray Stadium and raced at Bowman Gray Stadium. So I know makes it, it adds in and makes it a little more special too.
Thank you. Have a good season.
Thank you.
All right, Josh, we've got two more here in the queue. We'll get both of these and then we'll let you go here. Let's start with Jonathan and we'll go to Claire. Go ahead, Jonathan, you're first.
Great. Thank you for taking the time, Josh. Just got to ask you, you've raced at a lot of different short tracks over the years. From watching the film of the Bowman Gray races, the East races, what stood out to you about Bowman Gray, compared to other tracks that you might be looking for during the Clash?
Well, I mean, it's obviously, it's gonna be tight quarters racing, right? I mean, the track's narrow. It's shorter than a lot of the racetracks that at least we go to with Cup cars. So, I mean, the biggest thing is you need to be like anywhere you got to be fast, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing. You need to have good track position. You need to qualify well. Have a good heat race. That way you can get up front. The race is going to be chaotic in the middle of the field. That's without a doubt. I mean, the best way to avoid that is to be fast enough to stay out of it. And I feel like this is going to remind me a lot of the Valley Star 300 at Martinsville. There was a lot of those races. We would go to those races and there'd be 80 some odd cars and heat races and that was that's one of the toughest short track races to win. And I think this kind of format reminds me a little bit of that. I guess with it being closer to home and a more traditional short track, I think it kind of reminds me of that. And the biggest thing we can do is just go out there and be fast and try to stay in front of the trouble and execute the best race we can. And really, although it might look different, that's what a lot of these races are and a lot of short track races are across the country.
Thank you.
All right, Claire B., you're up. Go ahead.
Thank you. Hold on.
There we are.
There we are. Thank you so much for your time. I know racers want to win, and you wouldn't be Cup racers if you didn't want to win every week, same level. I get that. Do you think that various teams are putting various amounts of effort into this particular race, the Clash, that for you going to a new team for the Wood brothers, you might pour it on? Hendrick thinks that obviously very clear that qualifying at Daytona is big for them to get the pole. There's a lot of eyeballs on it. Do you think various teams put various amounts of emphasis on this race? And how would you sort of talk about what the Wood brothers are emphasizing when it comes to this one?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think it just kind of depends on the scenario and a lot of it is, in my eyes is kind of let off with the driver and their attitude to go to a race like this, right? I'm sure you got guys in the field that are thinking that this is not for them or not, traditional in a way that, maybe they wouldn't quite prepare. But I don't know. I mean, I think, for us, right, it's our first race together. So we want to, we're going to put in the extra effort that, we've made a lot of laps on the sim. Obviously, we hope that stuff correlates without being there the best we can. But, for me, the best way to prepare is just, I feel like you prepare the same for every race, no matter what. And I feel like the majority of the field would think the same way, right? Like I learned a long time ago, short track racing, right? Like it's easy to say like that you're not gonna, if you go to one of the big races of the year, you didn't try extra hard for that race compared to what you did week in and week out, right? Like you establish the habits of being prepared and working hard and putting the best race car you can on the racetrack each and every week, and that's what allows you to capitalize on the crown jewels and the big races and the championships. So, for us, this was just an opportunity to prepare for something new, utilize some of my experience on the short tracks and knowledge that I have there, and go to a race that is going to be really fun, and it means a lot to my race team, and and NASCAR and Ford and everybody, to just go have some fun, but try to put on a good show too.
And how much do John Wood and Eddie Wood and Len Wood, how much do they free you up to elbows up, go get what you need? It's going to be a brutal race. We know that.
Yeah, we haven't had that specific conversation, but I have a feeling I know what they're going to tell me, to go do what I got to do to put the 21 car up front. And yeah, I mean it's a hard balance, right, in these races, right? It's going to get rough. Yeah, for me, I think just settle the scores immediately. I think Kevin said that a couple years ago. I think that's my mentality going into it. So if I get ran into, they're going to get it back probably the next corner.
Going to be fun to watch. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
All right, Josh, we appreciate your flexibility moving from yesterday to today and taking 20 minutes or so to talk to everyone. We appreciate it, and wish you the best of luck here this weekend.
Yep, no problem. Thank y'all.